I'm glad that you could be part of this series. So who are you and where are you from and what do you do?
So my name is Thom. I'm from Oswestry, but at the moment I'm living in Chester, going to uni in Chester, and I'm studying musical theatre at the Hammond Drama School.
So how did you find Jesus?
For a while, I would have called myself a Christian, but I hadn't necessarily found Jesus. I just kind of knew about him and I knew what he was. But the time I first really remember encountering Jesus was I was at this place called Transform, which is like a big Christian festival, and the atmosphere is just electric. And even though there was all the powerful worship and the crazy kind of talks and chaos, some would say, it was actually when I was by myself in my tent, and it was just me and God, and that's the first time I felt like I encountered him, and that's the first time I found him was when it was just me and him, and it was the personal kind of side of it.
What does he mean to you now?
So yeah, over the years, since that first day in that tent where I was reading the Bible, it's changed. The answer to this question has changed, literally sometimes on a daily basis. But right now, I think for me, what he means is just an endless love and endless forgiveness. No matter what I do, no matter how far I walk away, or what I say to him or say to someone else or do or don't do, it's the idea that I'll never be any closer to him than I was before, and I'll never be any further away than I was before. There's nothing I can ever do that'll make him love me more, and there's nothing I can ever do that'll make him love me less. And the idea of that is just there's nothing like it. There's nothing on earth that is like that other than him. And that's the thing that captivates me. And I think that's the reason I'm a Christian. Just that endless grace and love. It's just, there's nothing like it.
Amen. Thank you. What have you seen Jesus doing?
I think there's a really recent story, and it's about my devotion. So for a long time, I've been trying to get my Bible devotions daily, where I spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes, sometimes 20, 30, however much time, just once a day, spend an amount of time with God. So I'm checking in every day, and I've been trying to do that for my whole life, really. I think we all have, really. But it got to a point where I was just getting frustrated that I couldn't do it, because I'm very perfectionist, and I want everything to be, I want to be the best at everything. I want to be I want to just put my all into everything. And the fact that I couldn't get it was frustrating me, and I found myself getting more and more frustrated. And I kind of gave it a rest for a while. Or so I thought. I thought I'd given it a rest. But then what actually happened was, in the mornings, I started waking up and doing daily stretches for my dance, and doing daily singing warm-ups for my singing, and doing running over monologues daily for my acting, and setting these devotions in the morning, not necessarily, or so I thought, not necessarily for God, but I thought it was just me doing it, and I was just setting these devotions in the morning. And then it was only the other day that I realized that I thought I'd turned away from God, and not necessarily turned away, but I'd given that a rest, and I'm giving it a break. But actually, in that time where I wasn't even trying to do it, God's been building this devotion and this muscle to have devotion and have consistency. So I've started now in the morning, sitting down and just not even always reading the Bible, just kind of going with the flow, and just putting a bit of worship music on. And every morning I sit, and it's it's so much easier, because in the brokenness and in where I'd failed before, God had filled the cracks with gold, and he's used that to build this muscle that I didn't have before, but now I do. And it wasn't even through what I had, how I thought he was going to do it. He did it in a completely different way, and almost did it behind my back, so that he just built it within me, and now I have that muscle more than I did before.
Yeah.
And it's hard, and I still struggle to do it every day, and it's still a struggle sometimes it's not, but it's a lot easier than it was before. And it kind of made me laugh a little bit, just I thought he'd failed, I thought I'd failed, and he'd just gone behind my back and built this muscle to be able to do that. And I just thought that's such a God thing to do.
Indeed. Brilliant. God's grace.
Literally.